Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone gathered, and we've been waiting a long time for this day. I'm Laura Kinsel-Bear, Beecher Terrace Project Manager for McCormick, Bear, and Salazar. And this day, like I said, has been a long time in the making. Many hurdles have been overcome to bring us together today to celebrate on this historic site. And for that, we should all be proud. I am truly honored to be able to welcome you to the Beecher Terrace grand opening. First, I need to thank Louisville Metro Housing Authority and Louisville Metro government for having the foresight to seek Choice Neighborhood Initiative funding for the Russell neighborhood and for its implementation successes so far. Beecher Terrace is the on-site component of a larger program that has replaced the former Beecher Terrace public housing with a mixed income model, added affordable housing in other neighborhoods around Louisville, and supported developments and the arts, community projects, and made improvements to existing homes in the Russell neighborhood. Beecher Terrace will add mixed income housing for 640 individuals and families to the Russell neighborhood. Other project details can be found on the back of your programs. Before I introduce the executives from our partner organizations, though, I need to offer a very special thank you to the staff who has worked so diligently and cooperatively to build what you see around you. Every step of the way, from planning to financial closing, through construction, and now to leasing. This has been no small undertaking, but for their attention to detail and steady focus, we wouldn't be here today. As our most critical partner, I want to ask the staff and any board of directors who are here from Louisville Metro Housing Authority to please stand and be recognized. They have put an incredible amount of effort into this project. Okay, and next, please stand when I call your organization, staff from McCormick Barron, Messer Construction, and any subcontractors that are here, SCB Architects, BA Engineering, Haggerty Engineering, Tri-Eco, NEC, and CDI. These are the people that when they tell you they're going to do something, they do it. Let's please give them a big round of applause for all of their hard work and dedication. It is an honor to welcome our first speaker now, a man who has supported this project from the beginning and tirelessly worked as a leader for high quality, fair, and affordable housing for all in Louisville for over 40 years. 2017 MLK Freedom Award recipient and LMHA board chair for over 20 years, Mr. Manfred Reed.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you. This is a wonderful day. It's so inspiring to be here, to be a part of, to be involved in, and to see the results of the city of Louisville, the residents of the Russell neighborhood, and most important of all, our staff. I want to give my great appreciation to McCormick, Barron, and Salazar. Great job. Thank you so much. Could we give an applause for McCormick, Barron, and Salazar? This transformation will enlighten our community to the highest level and encourage us to extend these advancements into the other parts of the neighborhood. And we look forward to that in the coming years. We have to attack poverty. We have to have a home replacement. And we have to create opportunities for our residents beyond this, to include high technology, increase in the advancement of technology as it relates to housing and home production. We look forward to working together with the city of Louisville and with the agencies of the city and moving forward toward replacing housing as needed throughout Jefferson County. That will be ongoing and a continuous investment in housing, and it will increase employment throughout the county for years to come. This is the hope that the city, the Housing Authority, has brought to our community, and this is what we look forward to. We don't expect to slow down. We expect to increase our activity and increase the investments. As we can see on the board here, that's quite a few dollars that are invested in our neighborhood. But it's a drop in the bucket to what we have to do. And there's so much commitment that we have to get from our residents to get their full participation and to increase opportunities for our youth as it relates to education. Housing production in the future won't be like it is today. It'll be high-tech. It involves education and technological advancement by our children. And it's up to us to encourage them to reach the heights of academic achievement in order that they might have the employment, might have the opportunities to be able to move forward in the future as we rebuild our city, not just a neighborhood, but the entire housing throughout the Jefferson County community. Because as we move forward in time, all housing will become dilapidated, unfit, and we have to replace them. We have to prepare a population that be able to have the technological advancement to be able to hold the jobs and man the fort and keep the ball rolling. I could talk forever, but I would like to move to the Honorable Gerald Neal. Is he present? Yes. All right. Thank you. I would like to say this. The senator has made a home run. He has brought, $10 million into our community. And we humbly thank him. We've been asking him for 20 years to do that. He did it. Thank you, Your Honor.
First of all, isn't this a wonderful occasion? I mean, I always tell this story because I have a personal connection with Beecher Terrace. For those who don't know, I was actually born in Beecher Terrace, physically born in Beecher Terrace, over on 10th Street. And I have fond memories of it, but not from the time I was born because I left here when I was 3. But when I moved to the California neighborhood, that connection and the people that my siblings grew up with drew me back and forth with Beecher Terrace. So that connection was always there. And the Beecher Terrace that I remember is not the Beecher Terrace that I hear sometimes, at least in its later days. In fact, the Beecher Terrace I knew was full of families that were aspiring, raising their kids, wanted them to do better than they were doing. And some of them, quite frankly, did much better than they were doing. Beecher Terrace was a place that was a springboard for a lot of people that looked just like me back in the day. So my connection with Beecher Terrace is personal. So when I see this, and I see this iteration of Beecher Terrace, I see more than just brick and mortar. I see families, I see opportunity, I see an upgrade that reflects a dignity that's associated with anyone's life, or at least should be. I see some real forward thinking. I see upgrading, keeping up with the technological advances of the time. I mean, this is a springboard that we couldn't have dreamed of in 1945. That's right, 1945, September the 22nd. I don't remember it, but my mother kept reminding me of that almost every day. She said, you got to do better, better, better. So I want to congratulate those people, every single person. I can't call out a name that's going to be meaningful in the sense that there were so many I know that were involved. Not just the people and the names you hear all the time. People that walk down the street, you don't know their names. They contributed to this process that are rooted in what this is today. So I want to thank all of those people, those that were at the table, those who used all their resources, mental, fiscal, and political, that made this possible. Because I'm expecting more out of Beecher Terrace and what it produces in those people who live in this environment, who live in this community. And I think we got good things on the way. Thank you so much, my good friend.
This was given to us by.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Okay,
come
thank
back.
One of our residents created this photo of Roy Wilkins. During the 1950s, he was president and executive secretary of the NAACP. He had a strong relationship with the Reverend W.J. Hodge, who was at that time on the Board of Aldermen. And he designated and presented a resolution to the Board of Aldermen, and they adopted and made 9th Street Roy Wilkins Boulevard. And we want to exhibit this in our office, administrative office, in the Senior Citizens Building. All right, so I want you to please give applause for this wonderful. I'm going to thank I want to thank Ms. Flippins for this gift. Thank you.
I'd like to use that as a segue to let everyone know that the Phase 1 building, as we call it, is actually named 450 Roy Wilkins Avenue because we wanted to honor and lift up that name. And the building is open. It's over there on the other side of the construction that's between us and there, and anyone is welcome to go in and view the common spaces and view the building. And there's also a model unit right behind us in the corner building that you're welcome to view after the program. All right, next, we are fortunate to have a video statement. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here in person, but from the Honorable John Yarmouth, U.S. House of Representatives Congressman. He's been representing Louisvillians since 2007. He seems to be everywhere all the time. I see him all the time, and yet he's in Washington as well. He has been an active champion of HUD support for Vision Russell since day one. And we have a video to show of his statement.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to join you. I hate that I can't be there with you in person to celebrate, but my committee has its first hearing on President Biden's budget this morning, so I have to be in Washington. I'm proud to say that the president's budget includes a record increase in funding for affordable housing and incentives to increase home ownership. It also includes support for a comprehensive effort to eliminate discrimination in housing, an issue that hits close to home for far too many Louisvillians. That is what I will be working to get done in Washington over the next few months. But today we're celebrating work already done, the completion of Phase 1 and grand opening of the new Beecher Terrace. This milestone could not have been reached without all the hard work of everyone involved. Community leaders, our local, state, and federal government partners, and of course the residents who helped make sure no one was left out or left behind in this process. I remember when we got the first federal funding to begin the planning for this project. It's hard to believe it was more than 6 years ago, but it's easy to remember the people I met that day. I was standing in the cold outside the Baxter Community Center with my friend Manfred Reed, Governor Steve Beshear, and Mayor Fisher as we took then HUD Secretary Julian Castro door to door to meet directly with residents and hear their stories. Some residents told us about the importance of being able to come back home, not to be chased out of their city. Other residents thanked us for wanting to hear their thoughts, for making their voice heard in what we all know is a complicated process. The overall feeling I got from the individuals we met with that day was hope mixed with not wanting to get your hopes up. After all, the Russell neighborhood has been overlooked or outright ignored by government leaders for decades, so I certainly understood the apprehension. But that's also why I'm so proud of today's grand opening and so proud of what it will mean for the residents who will live here. We all know that having a safe and stable place to call home is critical. It's not just where you lay your head at night and where you start your day. It's where you start your family and begin to plan for the rest of your life. For seniors, it's the key to retiring with dignity and security. When the difference between success or falling farther behind begins with having a place to call home, it's easy to see how this is a transformative moment for the Russell neighborhood and for the city of Louisville. So I didn't want to miss this opportunity to offer my congratulations on the completion of this phase and to everyone who had a hand in making this dream a reality. I can't wait to see what's ahead.
Okay, now I have the great honor to invite Greg Fisher to the podium. Mayor Fisher assumed office over 11 years ago and has seen Louisville through some very challenging times. Under Mayor Fisher, the city committed $15 million to the public infrastructure, resulting in the new streets and sidewalks that you see that broke through those old cul-de-sacs and restored the street grid, added beautiful new street lighting, and even a new traffic signal to go in at 9th and West Liberty, making crossing busy 9th Street a less scary endeavor. Please welcome the Honorable Greg Fisher, Mayor of Louisville.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is an incredible day for the city, a moment of real transformation, and it takes time to do a project like this. When I came into office in 2011, one of my goals was to see if we could create unprecedented investment in West Louisville. My parents and my grandparents grew up in the West End, and I know its proud history. This neighborhood was once known as the Harlem of the South. But over years, it has been devastated by disinvestment, including racist practices like redlining and urban renewal. But that's changing. Right from the start, even as we were all still coming out of the recession, the other recession back in 2010, my team and I started having conversations with residents here in Russell and with our partners at the Louisville Metro Housing Authority, HUD, and elsewhere about revitalizing this community. We had over 100 meetings with community members and neighborhood groups to talk about what their visions were for Russell. And those conversations led to thousands of hours of work, which led to us applying and ultimately receiving the $29.57 million Choice Neighborhood Grant back in 2016. And we still have the check. That was an incredible day, as John Yarmouth just spoke about, and we said, here we go, let's get started. And then we received an additional $4 million in Choice supplemental funding awarding in 2019. Think about those investments now. They're being leveraged with more than $200 million of public and private dollars in the Russell neighborhood. And this has been the anchor of more than $1 billion of investment taking place in West Louisville over these recent years. So our strategy all along was to have anchor developments on each boundary of the Russell neighborhood. To the west, we have the newly opened Norton Sports Healthcare and Learning Center at 30th and Ali. Kudos to the entire team at the Louisville Urban League for transforming a city-owned, large vacant lot into a development that will transform the lives of so many youths, coaches, and teachers. So that was Metro property owned by you all as citizens of Louisville, that now is part of the Urban League, and then the city put the first $10 million toward that project to make it happen. To the north, we have Waterfront Park Phase 4, which I've included in this year's budget. So when you combine last year's budget and this year's budget, there's $12 million toward Waterfront Park Phase 4. So we've got the track facility over here. We've got Waterfront Park Phase 4 that will be completed after I'm mayor. And then to the south, I hope it will be, we have the state-of-the-art Republic Bank YMCA at 18th and Broadway on the east side of 18th Street, and we'll get the west side completed. And then, of course, the city's first bus rapid transit line coming down here. And so today, here we are on the east side, where after 8 decades later, where the old Beecher Terrace was originally built, we are now opening the first 2 phases of the new Beecher Terrace. So there's a plan, there's a method to the madness. It just takes time sometimes for this to come together. And as we cut the ribbon on the first phase of this project, private donors continue to invest in this vision. I'm pleased to announce a brand new $1 million gift from the James Graham Brown Foundation for recreational amenities, including a new park on the former Porter Paints site. Let's give it up to them. There's been so much work on this project, and I'm just really proud of the folks that came together. And one of our goals all along was to show America how we could regenerate a neighborhood without displacing the residents that lived here, that built the soul of the neighborhood, and that would be the ultimate injustice. We have to lift up our neighborhoods, but we have to lift up our neighbors at the same time. I especially want to thank our community partners for their input and their patience throughout this process. The Beecher Terrace residents, obviously, first and foremost. The concerned pastors of Russell, the Russell Neighborhood Association, Vision Russell, which held more than 100 meetings that I talked about, Kevin Fields and the entire team at the Louisville Central Community Centers, and our community leaders. We heard from Senator Gerald Neal, Congressman Yarmouth, of course. HUD's a federal agency. He really helped as a partner on this project. Former councilpersons David Tandy, Barbara Sexton Smith, Ja'Cory Arthur, Jackie Floyd, who's over here, was just a community hellraiser? I don't know what the right title was for you, Jackie. But she combines beautiful hell raising with big hugs. And what a trip we've been on, Jackie. So thank you. And Jackie, of course, is now with Russell Place of Promise. I want to recognize the whole RPOP team, you, Teresa Zawacki, Anthony Smith, for really helping on this project a great deal. It's amazing what happens when you keep working on things. And I want to thank Reverend Jamesetta Ferguson as well. She has the beautiful combination of faith and commitment to see a vision through to completion in the new village at West Jefferson, which is 100% occupied. It's directly across from Beecher, and she's just another tremendous example of citizenship. I want to thank our funders, HUD, of course, Department of Housing and Urban Development in Washington, spending our federal money. We competed with 42 other cities to win this, and they awarded the grant to 5 cities, I think it was, 5 or 6. And one of the reasons why they did it, because as they said, the relationship between the city and the housing authority was exemplary. We work as one team. I want to thank Red Capital Group, the Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing, and the Kentucky Housing Corporation. And when HUD first awarded us this choice grant, they were very clear that what made this relationship or this project attractive to them was the relationship between Louisville Metro government and Louisville Metro Housing Authority. So I want to give a big thank you to our choice management team including the Louisville Metro Housing Authority and its inimitable board chair, Manfred Reed, former Housing Authority Director Tim Berry, who is with us here today, current Director Lisa Osanka, and the entire Housing Authority team. You guys get it done each and every day. We really appreciate you all. My job's to thank a lot of people. I want to thank the master developer, McCormick Barron Salazar. They brought their national expertise to make all of this happen and got through some real obstacles along the way. Messer Construction, thank you, as our general contractor. People Lead Urban Strategies made sure that we were focused on the most important thing in a project like this, people and our residents. I want to thank our Louisville Forward team from Metro Government, formerly led by Mary Ellen Wiederwall, who put together all the pieces of the puzzle on behalf of Louisville Metro Government. I see Mary Ellen back here. Thank you, Mary Ellen. And the Develop Louisville team, led by Jeff O'Brien and the many other Metro departments that were involved in these efforts. Former Director of Advanced Planning and Sustainability, Gretchen Milliken, played a tremendous role in this project. Jefferson County Public Schools were all in, and many other consultants and contractors with us today, including architect Sherman Carter Barnhart and financial partner and consultant Duvernay and Brooks. So, as I wrap this up, one thing that I have repeatedly heard from West Louisville residents about economic development in the West is that they were far too used to promises being made, but too few promises ever materialized. That's changing, and people can see that. Today, as residents move back into a revitalized Beecher Terrace, dreams are being realized and new pathways to success are being opened. And as one council person told me recently, yeah, I was a skeptic, but things are changing. You can see it. Mayor, it is undeniable. So it's great to see all of this come out of the ground and people starting to believe. I'm especially proud of phase 2 of this project. 100% of the Beecher Terrace replacement units will be occupied by Beecher families who were relocated and chose to return to this site. They have the first right of refusal, and they always will. This development also exceeded our contractor participation equity goals, with 31% of contracts held by minority business enterprises. Our goal was 25%. The female business enterprise goal is 10% of contract participation, and we've achieved 16%. Exceeding these participation goals is challenging, and I want to thank the Housing Authority, as well as the developer and general contractor, for all they are doing to achieve equity in contracting. And again, just a big thanks to the people of Russell and to everybody that has poured their hearts and souls and vision and years of hard work, dedication, and commitment to this project. And I look forward to coming back to cut the ribbon on the next phases of Beecher Terrace. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Beecher Terrace is not only a beneficiary of Choice Neighborhood funding, but also of favorable lending by HUD's Federal Housing Administration Office in Atlanta. We have our FHA inspector here, Wood McGraw, and our next speaker will represent both of HUD's departments serving under the new administration. Assistant Deputy Secretary Michelle Perez couldn't be with us in person, so we have a video of her statement.
Hello. On behalf of HUD Secretary Marcia L. Fudge, I extend her most heartfelt congratulations to the City of Louisville for your vision and commitment for ensuring affordable housing is accessible, affordable, safe, and available to those most in need. Like Secretary Fudge, you all have a profound understanding that affordable housing serves as a platform for community partnership, from local and state government, from public and private sectors, and most notably from the people who are at the center of this grand opening, the community members who live and thrive at Beecher Terrace. Together, you are making a marker and setting the stage that states unequivocally that housing is infrastructure, that housing is a foundation upon which a community can flourish, and that housing is a social determinant of health, wellness, and quality of life. It brings me great joy, personally and professionally, to recognize and participate in today's celebration of the grand opening of the first and second phases of the new Beecher Terrace redevelopment as part of HUD's Choice Neighborhoods program. Today marks the culmination of years of hard work for so many people, starting from a successful application for a 2014 Choice Neighborhoods Planning Grant to a Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant Award in 2016 to this very special moment we're at now. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the leadership and efforts of our HUD Choice Neighborhood team, Region 4, and HUD Louisville Field Office. HUD's work must complement the work of the team that dreamt, planned, and can now implement. The HUD team must stand with you in your efforts to build, to grow, and to uplift and amplify. I'm exceptionally proud of our contributions and grateful that we have been entrusted to be a part of this journey with you and the city of Louisville. Additionally, I would like to take a moment to thank our key and extraordinary partners. From the Louisville Metro Housing Authority, Lisa Osanka, Executive Director, and staff. Special thanks to Kathleen O'Neill, the Choice Neighborhoods Coordinator, and Pamela Bischoff, the Assistant Coordinator. Of course, to the City of Louisville's great Mayor, Greg Fisher, and staff. McCormick Barron Salazar, developer, Vince Bennett, president. Special thanks to Ashley Foll and Laura Kinselbeyer for their work on this project. And especially the residents, most especially the residents of Beecher Terrace for their belief, support, and commitment to making this project a reality. Last Monday, HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge traveled to Camden, New Jersey to another Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant Award to the Housing Authority of the City of Camden and the City of Camden Kramerville neighborhood. Kramer was one of 5 awardees nationwide provided such funding for fiscal year 2020. What we know to be true is that these cities have so much to look forward to, especially as we see the great work accomplished here in Louisville. At HUD, we understand that imperative and recognize the ongoing need to provide avenues of hope and opportunity for affordable housing while addressing and working to resolve racial inequity. As you may know, Choice Neighborhood is HUD's signature place-based program designed to help transform neighborhoods that have been historically disinvested into neighborhoods of opportunity. Choice Neighborhoods is not just about redeveloping housing, it's about the neighborhood and its people. Residents of HUD-assisted housing are offered intensive case management and new supportive services opportunities to help them meet their economic, education, and health goals. And the program also supports investments that promote economic development near the new housing and throughout the community. Louisville is just one of 40 Choice Neighborhoods implementation grants that have been awarded. And with that, we know that it will create over 29,000 units of mixed income housing, that there will be increases in educational partnerships, and that neighborhood improvements such as neighborhood retail, grocery stores, homeowner rehab programs, and recreational and other amenities are put into place. 10 years we've been doing this work since the first Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant Award was made. And in those 10 years, grantees have spent nearly $4 billion in public and private resources, and billions more leveraged dollars are expected. Which brings us to Louisville. The success stories is only where we're beginning in terms of what we can do here in this community. Your community vision for Russell neighborhood and the strength of local partnerships was so compelling that HUD awarded not 1, not 2, but 3 types of Choice Neighborhood grants to the Russell neighborhood. In fact, you may not be aware, or maybe you are, Louisville is only one of a handful of communities who have received all 3 grants. From the very beginning, your team has worked hard and took off running, from engagement of 600 residents and stakeholders in a 2-year planning process to partnering with the Louisville Central Community Center to building out retail space for neighborhoods serving businesses. Today, with your grand opening, these first 2 phases will provide 225 units of brand new mixed income housing, with many more phases, both on-site and off-site to come. This project will not only support the revitalization of the Russell neighborhood, but provides Beecher Terrace residents the opportunity to return to new housing in their community and enjoy a brighter future in the years ahead. In closing, congratulations to the Louisville Metro Housing Authority, MBS, the City of Louisville, and the entire development team. You have accomplished much, and the first phases of beautiful new housing are helping to ensure residents will have safe, affordable, and decent housing for decades to come. Thank you for inviting me to celebrate in this exciting milestone with you, and HUD looks forward to continuing to partner with you and support your efforts to help those we mutually serve. In gratitude and appreciation. Thank you.
It takes a lot of funds to get this work done, and we have many funding partners. But it is a pleasure now to introduce you to Ms. Catherine Cawthon, President and CEO of Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing, one of our most generous partners, or Ohio CAP, as we affectionately refer to it. They are the investor partner at Beecher Terrace and providing equity for the tax credits that make this project possible. Before Beecher, Ohio CAP was the investor partner at several other LMHA projects and redevelopments and has truly been a longstanding national leader in affordable housing. Catherine?
Thank you. While Ohio is in our title, our hearts are in a couple different states. Years ago, we started long-term relationships with folks here in Kentucky because we knew that Kentucky often was kind of overlooked when it came to the equity markets. So Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing is a nonprofit company that works with many investors and funders, whether it's lending, many of the national banks, local banks that you have here in Louisville and across the state, but then also a lot of lenders, both from a federal perspective and statewide. So we're very proud to be able to come to a project, and really when it is just a thought, an idea, and come to the table, sit around that table, and bring our expertise, and be able to not say no, never say no. And that's really a gift that it's a mission for our staff, and I'm only one. I'm only the one that's representing a group of hardworking staff members, and we have Brian Langmeyer, who worked on this project with his team, that figure out ways to not only structure equity investment, but then also how to attract it from those sources across the country to focus our efforts here in Kentucky. Not only, though, do we believe the mission is to create a foundation of safe and affordable housing, it doesn't stop there. That's 100% of our mission, is really the housing piece, but we've been able to leverage more money from our investors to provide philanthropic grants to various projects. And those are projects that we have provided equity investment to during the development phase. But those impact investments go towards a lot of things kid-focused. Most of it is education. Lately, we know the importance of connectivity and digital inclusion. And that was something that we actually had the foresight with some of our partners to think about it before the pandemic, but really exploded during that pandemic. We had a quick turnaround time to be able to provide funding, to bring children devices, provide them with internet connection, things like that. So we know that once the ribbon is cut, our job doesn't end. And it could. We could go on to the next project and just work on the development phase, but we feel it's a holistic approach to being able to leverage those relationships for the investment at the front and the investment for the next 15 years. So we hope you remember us when problems do arise, because not only are we here and expect these to hum for 15 years and go smoothly, it doesn't. I hate to tell everybody, there are bumps in the road. There are bumps in the economy. There's bumps, obviously, with the pandemic, but we're a partner for the long run. So thank you once again, and thank you on behalf of our staff for including us and our investors. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to introduce Ms. Tracy Thurston, Managing Director of Multifamily at Kentucky Housing Corporation. Kentucky Housing Corporation has shown their support for Beecher Terrace from the beginning, making 5 years of tax credit commitments right from the get-go. Small but mighty, KHC's staff works tirelessly to find ways to support projects all over the Commonwealth that bring stability and economic development. And I can truly say, honestly, that working with them these last 5 years has been a great experience. Tracy?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of KHC, staff, and board of directors, we are very honored to be here today to celebrate with you all. Some of the most important tools we have to develop and preserve affordable housing are the low-income housing tax credit and tax-exempt private activity bonds. KHC is an administrator of the low-income housing tax credit on behalf of the Commonwealth and also the issuer of tax-exempt bonds used for housing. Beecher Terrace is an excellent example of how these resources can be used to create and preserve affordable housing in a community like this. KHC allocated over $15 million in tax-exempt bonds for phase 1 of Beecher Terrace and $1.2 million in low-income housing tax credits for phase 2, and we have commitments going forward for the future phases. This is not done with just tax credits, which is evident here. I'm not going to go through the list of partners. A lot of names have been mentioned, but I do want to recognize the partners that are part of this development for their contributions and their expertise. I would also like to mention some KHC staff that are here today. Winston Miller, our executive director, is here to celebrate with you all, as well as Kathy Hinko, our board member. So I appreciate them coming out and seeing the hard work that my staff have put into this. All the partners have been amazing to work with, and it's just so great to come out here 4 years later and see what's been created. So thank you, everybody, and congratulations to the partners and especially the returning residents to Beecher Terrace.
Urban Strategies has been a guiding force in the development of this project. As the lead entity for the Choice Neighborhood People Plan, they lend their expertise and responsiveness in countless ways to empower residents' voices. I'm pleased to show you this video of remarks by Ms. Esther Shin, President of Urban Strategies.
Good morning. I'm Esther Shin, the President of Urban Strategies. On this joyous occasion, I would like to begin by giving thanks to all of the amazing partners that have made this day possible, starting with the most important set of partners, and that's the residents of this community who have demonstrated an extraordinary amount of resilience, courage, and vision. I would like to thank our partners at HUD for the resources to realize the community's vision, and to the Louisville Metro Housing Authority and the City of Louisville for serving as stewards of this vision. To the McCormick Barron companies for lifting up the importance of people and recognizing how important and how integral human capital is to revitalizing neighborhoods. To our people partners, Park Duval, Louisville Metro Health and Wellness, the YMCA, Family and Children's Place, Gen Care, Louisville Urban League, Louisville Health Advisory Board, Dare to Care, the Louisville Central Community College, and Molo Village. Thank you for sharing in the accountability for serving families to the absolute highest of standards. Without these partnerships, we would not have seen a 32% increase in the employment rate since the start of the project, or the 50% increase in children and youth participating in out-of-school time activities. Without these partnerships, we would not have achieved a nearly 100% rate of children and adults having access to high-quality healthcare, and access to a primary physician. And without these partnerships, we would not have survived the coronavirus pandemic. Emergency services, food security, educational materials, and health education is just a brief list of the supports that partners have provided. And finally, I would like to thank the Louisville Urban Strategies team, led by Talonda Holland, for their commitment to children and families, for ensuring that even in the middle of a pandemic, critical needs were addressed, and for continuing to show up even when they were just plain exhausted. To Christy and Donovan, thank you for your unwavering advocacy for a just system that serves the most vulnerable. I recognize that this is a community that has confronted deep hurt and has struggled with systems that do not always work on behalf of their best interests. S. Kelly Harrell says, "We don't heal in isolation, but in community." On this great day, I know that through the generosity and steel will of this community, the new Beecher Terrace can realize the bright vision where residents are not simply stable, but where they are thriving and soar. So congratulations to Louisville, the Russell neighborhood, and Beecher Terrace residents for achieving so much to get to this day.
It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Ms. Gina Anderson. Friendly and outgoing, mother of one, she has lived at Beecher Terrace for approximately 10 years. To Ms. Anderson, Beecher means family. Her fondest memories of living at Beecher was taking care and looking after her elderly neighbors. Ms. Anderson has worked closely with Urban Strategies throughout the relocation process. Ms. Anderson has returned to the senior building at Beecher Terrace, 450 Roy Wilkins, and loves her apartment. Her future hopes are that Beecher will remain a beautiful place inside and out. Ms. Anderson.
Good afternoon. I love my community. It's a very nice place to be. I got plenty of friends, new friends, old friends. A whole lot of my friends in the old Beecher have died and gone on. Ooh, it's kind of hard. I enjoy living here. Y'all gotta give me a minute. I used to come going to the doctor's office in Port Duval. I used to pass the old Beecher. And then all at once I said, I'd like to get in this community. Family got in this community and I love it. I moved away for 4 years because that's when they tore down the old Beecher and relocated. Now I'm back and I'm enjoying it. I love the community. I might not be up here 3 minutes, but thank y'all for having me.
Next, I would like to introduce you all to Ms. Lamika Jordan. Passionate and proud mother of 6, Lamika has been a Beecher Terrace resident for approximately 15 years. She has proudly raised all 6 of her children at Beecher. To Ms. Jordan, Beecher means community. Some of her fondest memories were witnessing the community, helping each other, and several programs in Baxter Community Center that helped residents and families. Lamika has been active with Urban Strategies and is currently one of 13 resident leaders receiving training in equitable community development. Lamika is committed to making living at Beecher a positive experience for all. Ms. Jordan.
Okay, well, thank everyone for having me. Throughout, 15 years, I've raised 6 kids down here. I first got down here in 97. I go with the again, sorry. Got down here in 97, and as soon as I got down here, I came from Cotter Homes. So I moved down here in Beecher Terrace, and instantly there was a feeling of community. Neighbors knew everybody, each other, families. Back then we had you had Baxter, the Baxter Center, the Baxter Gym Community Center that offered the kids after-school programs, day camps, summer camps, field trips, computers, classes in the computer room, fitness and gym. We had Dare to Kerr, who was run by the Irenes, as I call them, Miss Irene, Miss Ida Carton, Miss Rose, Kevin Cole, Charlie Robb. And that was important to us because this is a food desert. So we were able to get fresh produce and canned goods as we needed them throughout the month, throughout the year. So have you Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that. I would say Beecher has had its fair share of violence. And I won't speak anymore on it because that's our past, period. That's it. While being displaced, as you would say, Urban Strategies has helped Beecher residents with various types of assistance and resources throughout our transitioning and back. And when I say above and beyond, I mean I got everybody's cell phone number right there, above and beyond. So I'd like to thank Urban Strategies for the hard work and commitment to Beecher. It pushed me to be in a more visible position, outspoken resident of the old Beecher and the new Beecher. Lastly, I would like to say, for our residents that didn't get to make the journey back, let's give them a moment of silence just to remember several that we missed. Mr. Mern, who was a contributor to the community. And lastly, I'm gonna go off this one because I like this one. Makiba. She, in our rent office, but was above and beyond just taking care of the residents. When I say above and beyond, I mean vacation Bible school for the kids every summer, not just one time. She also organized one of the biggest clothing donations for the whole neighborhood. Whatever you needed, if you needed anything back then, Makiba was the one you went to. So I really want to say thank you. I didn't know you were going to be here, and I want to say thank you on behalf of, I know, everybody in Beecher. Thank you, Urban Strategies. Y'all just do not know. I'm glad to be back. I'm praying and hoping that we can keep the community, growing and thriving, improving, encouraging kids, lifting kids up, lifting us in ourselves, just to be better people and to just have a better, safer neighborhood. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those uplifting words. We're about to get to the ribbon cutting. Just one closing statement video. We'll hear from a longtime visionary who's been in the business close to 50 years. The MBS team is grateful for his leadership, and truly we wouldn't be who we are as a company without him. My boss, Richard Barron.
Good afternoon. I am sorry that I cannot join all of you in person, but I really wanted to send my regards to everyone who has been involved with Beecher. It's a terrific project, one of which we're very proud, and wanted to thank our partners at the Housing Authority and the Mayor's Office and the Mayor personally, with whom I'd spent a good deal of time talking about the development. And of course, our team, Laura and Ashley and our architects and all of our construction folks that have been involved, along with Messer and the residents, of course. We are very, very proud of how everyone has worked together. We've worked through issues together, but with our Housing Authority partners and HUD and the State Housing Finance Agency, we think Beecher will become a very important signature development in Louisville that will finally start to bring the Russell neighborhood to a new place and will, in fact, melt the divide at 9th Street. We have been in Louisville for many years, initially doing Phoenix Place and a number of other developments, and we're very, very proud of Beecher Terrace and certainly want to welcome all of our new elderly residents who are in the beautiful new first phase of Beecher, and all the families now who are occupying the family units. It has been a very challenging development because of the pandemic, but really want to thank all of the members of the Messer team and the subcontractors who have done a very, very lovely job with the development. And I hope that I'll be able to visit Louisville in the not too distant future to personally meet with everybody and to thank you for your involvement with McCormick Barron Salazar.
One.